Uh, yes, today is another beautiful day. We gonna kick it off and slay. Cause your boy never come to play. It's the weekend, my friend. Peeking, my friend. Let's sneak in again. We talking about The Last of Us. I'm gassed, of course, because I'm on the gas, of course. Oh, yes, bars. All right, that's all you get this morning for free. That's all you get this morning for free. Welcome, as you know, this is the New Blurred Order, kicking you in the face with some nerd church. And let's talk about some video games and the video games productions this morning. I, as you know, am excited because this week, The Last of Us debuted. But that's not all we're going to talk about today. Let's discuss a few other things on the docket as such as one Mindy Kaling, who's right now kind of getting drugged for her evidently lackluster project of Velma. And that's not all. There's some family problems that we must discuss because racism. Also, hey, we're looking forward to the upcoming projects brought to us by PlayStation. We are possibly in the golden era of video games. I mean, we got PS5s, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and we got PSVR 2 coming out pretty soon. And some of these games I'm really geeked about, and I know my homie Nolly and Tyrone and all of us are as well. What do you get when you put an all-black production about black people fighting against each other in the theaters? Oh, well, you get one angry white man, evidently, for being left out. And there's a whole other conversation to be had with that. Also, big shout outs to our homie up, evidently Princess Tiana, the one who voiced Mary, the guy who was a prince. This is some fairy tale. And we want to go ahead and send her flowers. We see she let the right one in. And also, man, come on, we might finally discuss Gwen Stefani and her unfortunate depiction of what she thinks being Japanese is. Hey, Zhang-Yi, have y'all seen this movie? Did you hate it? Did you love it? We'll discuss. And of course, there's a whole host of other projects coming out this year that me way want to discuss. I am your boy, the real Vince Taylor. We've got so much to talk about. Please make sure you guys are liking, sharing, and subscribing to the page. This is the New Blurred Order, baby. Let's go ahead and get into it.
I love the New Blurred Order. You should too.
Let me get all this 10p Wayne. All the niggas rapping about the same old thing. I've been coming through with the same old gang. Ain't shit changed except nine got a name. Got it out the mud but we got no stains. Cold ass digital with a gold ass chain. The girl call me daddy, not my government name. Money on my mind, got them bands on my brain. Let me tell y'all about a nigga I know. The nigga stay clean so he always got hoes. Light skinny bitches like...
All right, man. Listen, as we said in the header, are we living in the golden era, the golden age, if you will, of video games? And that just doesn't mean what we're playing. Like the way that these video games is doing right now, they actually are making for good source material for these movies. And The Last of Us is a perfect example of that. Good morning, y'all. I am your boy, the real Vince Taylor, coming live from the Spider-Man cave, Blurred Man himself, and I am joined by Nolly. Woohoo! On the fleek, we've got Tyrone. Yes, we've got my homie Steph, and of course, none other than Bad Ty. Yaz is off for the morning, which are in our thoughts. But let's go ahead and kick this thing off with what we tried to do earlier this week and talking about The Last of Us. All right, a little bit of background info, y'all. We tried to be proactive this week and do like a live review after, The Last of Us popped off on Sunday because there was a Mandalorian trailer that was supposed to kick off in the middle of a football game. And we ended up falling asleep, not making it. It didn't pop off the way we expected. But either way, we tried our best. Needless to say, even though it came out 6 days ago, The Last of Us is still definitely getting a lot of press and getting a lot of rave reviews. So just real quick, man, has everybody here had a chance to watch it? Everybody here had a chance?
Yeah.
We've all seen the first episode, right? I think it's the first one episode.
That's it. Yep.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this back up, and I'm gonna ask y'all give me a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you hated it, and give me a meh in the middle if you thought it wasn't even worth having an opinion. I'm gonna take this down in 3, 2, 1. Oh, wow! Whoa! Yo, Tyrone, put in the notes that Stephanie has 2 thumbs up. All right, Stephanie being our harshest critic. Let's just keep it real. She's like almost borderline a resident hater. she'll hate the project before she loves it. Let's keep it real, hey. Let's keep it real. Like when you like something, I'm like, whoo! Like I remember the first thing Steph like full-throatedly liked, outside of course Black Panther and all of our usual products, was the Predator, the Prey movie that depicts the prey, and I was like, what, Steph? So yeah, Steph, if you don't mind, man, tell us what you dug about the show, man. What made you feel it?
So I hated the entire flashback. Get rid of all of that. It was a waste of my time. It was dumb. It frustrated me. I thought I was going to hate the whole show. But once we got into the present tense, I actually enjoyed it. I love a dystopian property. I love a zombie property. I liked that the leaders of the Fireflies were Black women. That was dope. I thought the main character was pretty cool. I found the teenage girl who seems to have the cure in her blood. Spoiler alert. But you should know that. The game's been out for like 50 years, right?
Right.
I found her tolerable, and the storyline was interesting. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing what happens next. I did not play the game, so I don't know the whole storyline. So it's kind of a fun adventure for me. I mean, it's following tropes. Like, I get it. I know where it's going, but I don't literally know where it's going. So I'm going to keep watching.
Yeah. And I hate to admit this, but you're not alone. I didn't play the game either, I'm sad to say. But I know somebody who did, this one right here. So could you possibly give us what you thought as the gamer and the watcher and viewer, Nolly? What you think about it?
Perfection. Chef's kiss all around. 10 out of 10. Round of applause. It was literally like playing the first hour and a half of the game. To a T. They didn't change much. They even took dialogue from the game and put it in the show. And I was like, this is what game adaptations are meant to be like. Okay, I'm looking at you for everything else that Netflix has put out. Netflix, pay attention. This is how it is done. It was perfect. I cannot wait for tomorrow. Like, I was ready to be disappointed. I was ready. I had like the little take a deep breath. It's about to start. Don't go in with expectations because you're always disappointed. No, perfection down to the casting. And I'm so glad that they used Marlene's original motion capture and voice actress, because I don't think anyone else could play the role. Go ahead, Black Queen.
Hallelujah.
It was perfect.
Wow, perfection. That's high praise. But just to Nolly's point real quick, I mean, it literally almost went screen for screen in some instances compared to what was in the game. I mean, you can see right here, we've had some folks who on YouTube have actually shown side by sides what the game did versus what HBO did. And this is a tricky thing to do, because sometimes when you go directly with what the game is doing, you could, start to fall off because people start making the comparisons too close. But Tyrone, I think that this game has given a good pathway to this on-screen production, which is starting to look like it could be ushering in a really good season of good content, good on-screen screenplay, good actors, all based on a good script that a game gave us. What say you?
Yeah, no, I'm 100% on board with that. I think when you have people who take, like, games are fun and we love to play them, we love to entertain ourselves and stuff, but also when somebody takes all that time and that creative energy and builds you such a good story, they basically given you a roadmap and an instruction manual on how to like adapt this. So you don't have to spend a lot of time trying to think of ways to make it different, to make it work for TV. It works. It already works. It has enthralled millions of people. It's one of the favorite games. Anytime I hear somebody talk about this game, they're gushing about it. So kudos to the creators, the directors, the writers, everybody who adapted this for understanding that they had a property that could carry, like the property already is carrying itself. All you have to do is not get in the way. And I appreciate when people know that and can see that, because so many people get in their own way when they're adapting stuff. This is how to do it. This is the blueprint.
Ty, you agree?
Absolutely. Like so far, I mean, it was the whole entire, like, it's not often that you get to watch a show and be captivated the whole time. Like I was like, there was not a point where I looked away at my phone and or felt distracted. I was fully immersed in the story. I also did not play the game. So this is all kind of new for me. And so just that as a just an overall quality writing and visual, yeah, I'm right along with Tyrone and Nolly and Steph. This probably is as close to 10 as you might get. Like if like perfect is hard to give any movie or you know, thing a 10, but it's about as close as you could get.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't all good. Steph let us know that there were certain characters that she may not necessarily have thought made the best decisions. Steph, care to elaborate?
I hated the daughter. She was basically the star of the first 15 minutes, and she was just dumb. She was so dumb. She made every bad choice that a white woman makes in a horror film, and you just roll your eyes and you're like, why? And the little girl clearly has some melanin. So I'm not going to lie, my expectations for her were a little bit higher than the typical random white girl doing stupid things in a scary movie. But she did literally everything. She's at home, wakes up, home alone. Her dad I'm pretty sure he told her to stay inside. Her dad had to leave in the middle of the night for some emergency. She wakes up. She's like, what's going on? Watches the TV. It's like, hey, state of emergency, don't go outside. First thing this bitch does, go outside. So then she sees her neighbor's dog and is like, hey, you're not supposed to be out here. Let me take you home. She tries to take the dog home. The dog looks at her like, bitch, absolutely not, runs away. She doesn't pick up on the obvious cue to not go in the house. And it's like, cool, dog scared of the house? Think I'll go in by myself. She gets in there. Clearly, the door is not open naturally. It looks broken into. Looks like they've been robbed. Great. Gonna check it out by myself. Goes in the kitchen. Her foot kind of slips on a trail of blood. This bitch is like, great. I want to know more. I'm gonna go further into the room. There's a man like bleeding, dying. He's like, help me. Clearly, he can't be helped at this point, okay? First of all, you're 12. You're not a medical professional. Secondly, the person who did this might still be here. You don't know. Continues to go in deeper. There's a zombie grandma eating the other resident of the house, and she freezes and is like, Nana? I think maybe it's her Nana. I don't know. And then eventually she runs. She just does literally everything wrong. If this was a choose your own adventure where along the way you had like 12 chances to save herself, every time she was like, nah, I'd rather die. I'd rather die. And I hated her.
Yeah, man. And I mean, well, Nolly, what you think about that? Is that fair?
She's not wrong. It's like, baby girl, okay, I know you watch TV. I know your friends play video games. I know you've seen a movie. I get that you're in a fictional world, but context clues. That dog was not trying to go inside, and that's its home. Rule number one. Don't do that. Also, yes, you're a teenager, and if the house looks fucked up, there's blood on the floor, get out.
Yes.
It's frustrating. But she was the exact same way in the game, so I didn't expect any different. But it's still like, come on. Y'all don't raise kids with street smarts.
She definitely hasn't paid attention to the Scream movie rule book, and she's going out there, acting like her palm. What's going on, Ty?
I'm just gonna say, I mean, the little girl's 12 years old.
Here we go with the 12. First of all,
Time out. I wasn't finished.
Okay.
She's 12 years old. I did not see a mother in that household. I saw a father who I'm just showing something. I just saw a father who seems to work a lot. So she's pretty much there raising herself And I'm not going to sit here and say at 12 years old, you have it all figured out. Like, I get what y'all are saying because we're saying it as adults. Like, these are all context clues. She's 12 years old, home alone. The neighbor's dog, who she's very familiar with, is at her house. Going next door to her neighbors, whom she seems to have a very good relationship with, because she sits with the lady who we call Nana on a regular basis and goes and hangs out with them. So
Ty, let me stop you. She saw a trail of blood, bro. There was a trail of blood when she went into the house.
Trail of blood. She stepped on the trail, but she didn't see a trail of blood. She stepped on the blood, realized that it was something on the thing, realized it was blood. At that very moment, looked to her left, and the old man was on the floor bleeding. The same.
And then she saw a bitch eating a bitch.
Okay,
she didn't even see
the lady eating anyone.
I want to jump in and see if I can help out. I want to see if I can help out. Imagine you're 12 years old, because I feel you. Imagine you're 12 years old and you walk into and like, these people are all sweet and stuff, and she's baking cookies all the time and stuff. She walked in and maybe she was like, oh, Nana's baking the cherry pie. Look, they got cherry pie all over the floor. I almost slipped on some of this cherry pie. Nana, did you want to clean up some of this? And then she sees dude on the floor and he's covered in cherry pie because his pie was so good. And he's like, help me, I'm too full of pie. And she's like, I want some of that. You know what I mean? Because you never know with a 12-year-old. They could, the context is off.
First of all, I still have issues with fact checking whether or not she's supposed to be 12 in this. It seems she feels more like she's about to graduate high school, but I don't know. What do I know? Either way, bro, like when you I'm with Steph on this, man. Like, there's so many different avenues, so many different options that she has. And all right, so let's go through this step by step. All right, let's dog comes. Red flag number one.
Wait, no, you missed. Turn on the TV and it's like state of emergency. Stay in your homes. I think I should go outside.
But remember, kids don't do hooked on phonics no more. So maybe she just didn't register.
It wasn't like some small announcement. I mean, you turn on the View, or you sitting there trying to watch Love After Lockup, and all of a sudden, warning, don't leave your house. Oh, here's dog. Dog, where's your owner? I'll go find him. Oh, somebody's kicked door in. Let me investigate with my 88-pound frail teenage body self. Oh, man on the ground. Oh, he's injured. Oh, I slipped on blood. Oh, look over there. Oh, shit. Alien, something freaking zombie, eating other person. Do I run? No. I sit and watch and wait for him to pan up and make eye contact with me. Now I'm running. And God knows if Pop Duke hadn't just showed up with the Cobra Clutch, with him and the other, the other, guy, was trying to escape and was ready to pop off and practically beat her inside the head with the pipe. By the way, spoiler alert. I should have said that about 10 minutes ago. But I mean, it came out Sunday, so that's going to happen. I just think that Steph is got a really good perspective. And I think that what does kind of fuck with us is that, yes, this is a person of color, and we have higher standards for ourselves. We like, hold on, Becky.
You want her to have street smarts when she's not from the streets. That's what I'm like. It's like, yo, she's living in a house in a suburban community, but you want her to have some type of
street smarts, survival instincts. Okay, just survival instincts. She at no point was like, let me try to stay alive. She could have at least done a little bit of action, kid. Grab a broom as you investigate the broken into house. This bitch had no defense of any kind.
None. And that's listen, Ty, we're not asking her to be a black woman Chuck Norris. You know what I'm saying? Or we don't think she's Odell from Menace to Society and she's got street smarts. But at bare minimum, man, when you see a person eating another person,
yep, But can I add this relationship real quick, right? So say you and me live right next door to each other. You're my best friend like you are right now. Your dog comes running over to my house.
Oh, you out of gas.
Hold up, I'm out.
Oh shit! What happened to time?
I'm done.
Oh, you all right? Oh fuck, man! They got my dog. Oh man, my dog, bro. They got my dog.
Good to know.
I think it's time to reassess.
We had such good times together. Remember the New World Order? We used to broadcast every Saturday.
All right, so I know who I can count on.
Guys in there like, help me.
He'll be like, nah, you're not gonna make it.
Ty, you all right? I'm calling. He ain't answering. He ain't returned my text. This is gonna be a wrap. Man. Am I going in your house and seeing somebody eating your wife? And I'm like, get off of her. Like, no, it looks like a job for the CDC.
We call enough video games to know what the fuck is up. He's seen movies. He's like,
yo, damn.
I loved you.
All right, well, you know.
Is that blood on this dance floor? Oh, I'll see y'all later. Sorry, man. I interrupted.
Nah, it's cool, man. I know. Definitely not who not to call. You know, definitely. But I'm just saying, like, I think the relationship, and they did it briefly. They didn't, go all deep into it, but they kind of let you know that this young girl had somewhat of a pretty good relationship with her neighbors. And I'm just saying, from the standpoint of someone you care about, whether it be any of y'all, if I was if I live next door, your dog, whom I'm also very familiar with, is scratching at my door, and it's late at night. Y'all are elderly. I'm gonna go check on y'all because I know something could happen. As an old woman, you could have fell. You could have, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody could have had a heart attack. And this is just me thinking from the standpoint of, caring about a person. So all I'm saying is, she, as a 12-year-old child, without any like real training, nobody kind of, I don't know what her father was teaching her. I'm speculating at this point. But I'm just saying, like, her going into that situation, it's not surprising. Like, that's not something that I feel like was like, oh, wow. Now, once she did recognize that Nana, or whatever the lady's name was eating the other lady, she got the hell up out of there. Like, it wasn't like she just was like,
all right, let me
you know what I mean?
That's not what happened. She waited to be chased. She made eye contact with this bitch, like, while she was mid-chomp, and was still kind of like, what is that?
No, she was like, Nana?
It wasn't until that motherfucker got up and started coming at her that she was like, oh, you're a villain. I mean, I guess the blood, the guy dying, and the human in her mouth did not give that away. So yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna keep it real. Like, Steph is right 100% on this, bro. I mean, I appreciate you trying to kind of devil's advocate this out, but it's not her fault. Now, before we sit here and trash this character, let's also recognize that it's a character. I still, in the same breath, want to give her flowers. This is young Melanie Newton, the daughter of Thandie Newton. And man, if ever there was a time that I thought that a child was made in a test tube, it would be now, because there is literally no a semblance of any other DNA in her. Like, they look exactly alike. I'm almost tempted to say there's some clone shit going on, because there's no father. She's sprung from her forehead like Zeus. Like, there's some weird shit going. It's rare that you see such an uncanny resemblance between a mother and daughter, but I'm gonna leave that alone. But either way,
Boba Fett situation.
A Boba Fett situation.
Yeah, Jango Fett, Boba Fett situation.
Oh yeah, we got a whole clone army. I wonder if she's got brothers and sisters. But I do want to give her credit, and this is kind of cool when you can see nepotism played in a positive way. I honestly am not one to down folks who get a leg up because their parents put them on. It's just when they don't admit their privilege that it becomes a little problematic. But I digress. Other than that, though, Steph, when you got past her stupidity and her basically playing the role of Anna Faris in every scary movie, we got a little. It got a little better for you.
It did. I think it also probably didn't help that I'm not crazy about Homegirl's mama. I'm not a big fan of Tandy Newton either. She has a history of some questionable commentary on.
Do tell.
At one point, she said, "I've wanted to apologize every day to darker skinned actresses to say I'm sorry that I'm the one chosen." Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She was sharing some of her thoughts on colorism. And that was her. That was her not well thought out statement.
That was her, after she had taken a role where they basically put her in blackface, right? Or they made her look darker for something.
I think
that
was
figure, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that was Tandy Newton that played Nina Simone. I think that was Avatar.
No.
That was Who was Avatar?
Oh,
that was Zoe Saldana.
That was Zoe. That was Zoe who did that F shit.
Look, she's Dominican, so it tracks. So.
So, I don't know about that part.
Hold on, wait. Let me clarify what I think Nolly's saying. Nolly's not saying, well, she's Dominican, so it works. She's saying, well, that's what Dominicans do.
We are problematic.
They deny their, she wasn't trying to.
I know Dominican. I know black. I'm Dominican. That's it. Every time. Every fucking time. They'll be dark, Lord Jesus, 30 times darker than Vince and be like, I'm not black. Sir.
It's the whole thing, and I want to interject my usual criticism of Zoe, which is that I can't believe she went on 106 and Park to say that. Like, that's something you say at the dinner table. Like, I'll never forget. I'm in college watching. Huh?
That's something you say on The View to Ellen DeGeneres, but not on 106 and Park.
She shouldn't say that's it. Period. Like, you're on 106 and Park in front of an all live young black audience to promote Drumline, and when they ask you about hip hop, you're like, I don't really do hip hop, I'm more of a rock guy. This is 106 and Park, bitch. Oh, well, how's it feel to be, a black? Well, I'm really Dominican, so, bitch, read the room. You're talking to AJ and Free on black entertainment television. I get it. You understand?
TRL. That was our mistake. She thought she was going to go talk to Carson Daly.
Right. And we got some thoughts about that, as there is some of that. We definitely going to discuss. But anyway, Steph, you were talking about the rest of the show.
Outside of the Newtons, I really enjoyed it. I thought the rest of it was good. I hope that we continue to see black women involved. It's not looking too good because both of them may be dead now. But hopefully there's some more that show up. And I like the leader of the Firefly, so I do hope she comes back.
Yes, the leader of the Fireflies, also known in my household as Miss Greenleaf. I don't know if y'all saw Greenleaf or not, but yeah, like Greenleaf is this big production about the drama behind wielding a mega church that happens to be black. I love it. I don't even say I love it, but it's good to see her. And Nolly, could you help us understand the significance of her being in this role? Because if I'm not mistaken, she also was in the video game itself, right?
Yep. She is the original actress who did the motion capture and the voice acting for Marlene in the game. So she is only one of 3 actors from the game in the show. But it's cool because she's the only black one. Yes, bitch.
Now, that's dope. In the game, for those of us who didn't play, was she was depicted as her actual image, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Her actual image.
So when if you are really into the game, for you to watch this, you're literally watching it come to life. Like, you're literally seeing the folks, with the exception of the fact that they did, race bend his daughter. You're literally seeing the people from the screen become real live action characters. And Tyrone, I am thinking that this is one of the first few times where this has worked. We've seen in the past attempts to have live action adaptations of video games crumble miserably. We don't even want to talk about listen, I don't want to sit there and name all of them. But in our era, we were lucky to get a Mario Brothers movie with John Leguizamo. Yeah. We were lucky to get Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. Like, those were our video games. Now we're looking at folks who are taking this shit seriously. Are they doing it right?
Yeah, I think they really are. Like I said earlier, with just respecting the source material and stuff. And then it's extra cool for voice actors and people who do motion capture for video games, because that's a form of entertainment and just kind of a segment of the business that's not really respected too much. So to see it kind of enter the mainstream and to see people get their chances to show up on bigger stages, I think that's really cool because it's not an easy jump to make. And voice acting is often so overlooked that it's you just kind of relegated to just being in the shadows, or like the guy who played Kratos in God of War. He just kind of collects video game awards here and there for his performances, but you don't see him otherwise.
Right.
So it's cool to see this happening. I hope it happens more. And I hope people who deserve those opportunities, like the woman who plays Marlene, keep on getting them, because it's cool. And as you can see, the people who love the games and the people who like love these characters, they get geeked up when they see these people on screen on their TV, on actual TV shows. So keep doing it. Keep giving us this love.
Yeah, man. I don't know, Ty. Is this giving us promise that maybe this is the new standard, or is this a one-off and we just happen to buck up on a good production in this sense? Have we been seeing of late with things like Halo and hold on now, Dolly, don't make that face. Even Steph kind of like Halo a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. I hope I'm not messing that up. Maybe I'm wrong. But
I watched Halo.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, Steph has a Halo, so that forgives her. She just maybe we can see your Halo. But now, Ty, is this going the right way, bro? Is this the new standard, or is this just a good production that we're lucky to have?
If we're being honest, HBO productions are usually the standard. So I mean, it kind of falls right in place where it should be. This being an HBO, Max, HBO production, this is not a surprising thing. The fact that they're taking the storyline that was already based from the game and just mimicking everything and just kind of not going in and changing or feeling the need to go in and rewrite what was already written, is why the fans are so excited. I think this is what gamer and gamer movie fans have always been asking for is look, don't go in and try to do too much. Like, everything is already here. Mm-hmm. Just go in and just do what you got to do, and that's what we're seeing right here in The Last of Us.
Yeah, imagine if the first Resident Evil movie was just the game, just like made to the T. Like, it would have hit so hard. Like they could have been getting this right for years.
Yeah, man. You know what? I think I'm the biggest Resident Evil fan on this panel, and I didn't watch any of the movies because I couldn't. I tried to watch the first one. And halfway through it, I was like, "Who is this bitch?" I was like, "What does she have to do with the storyline?" Like, I don't know. Like, they made up a whole character just for her to, you know what I'm saying? And it's not a knock on Mila. Say it again.
And they named her Alice.
Oh, they named her Alice. So she was. Yeah, man. Like, look, the disrespect to the fans. So yes, Resident Evil. Quick note. Can I speak to you directly? Come on in. Real on in. Resident Evil. Hey, guess what? Your games are already dope. The stories written already work. Hence, there being like 8 or 9 Resident Evils now. Why the fuck can't you just follow the script that you already have for your video game? Like, for instance, hey, shall I say Exhibit A1, Last of Us. Just tighten the fuck up. All right, I digress. But there's... Go ahead, Ty.
Oh, no, I do want to say it is helped along. Like, this show is helped by great performances. Like Pedro Pascal, we haven't even mentioned him yet, and we've been talking about this thing for a minute, and we haven't mentioned him. He is killing it.
100%.
Like, absolutely killing. Everybody's just knocking it out of the park. It's like that helps to elevate it so much when you got people like with doing those kind of performances, feeling like that. Like when Steph's favorite character met her end, that moment for most of us hit pretty hard. I'm sure Steph was like, finally, but like for most of us, we were like, oh man, this hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, listen, I think that one of the things that we anticipated as a panel was that the show was going to deliver from acting when we saw who the lead character was. I mean, we've got Pedro Pascal, obviously, but then we've also got Bella Ramsey, who, as we remember, was one of the youngest but most riveting actresses, in my opinion, in the Game of Thrones series. I mean, the chick went to war. She was like 9. She was like, I want to be on the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? Like, she wasn't playing. And so yeah, I knew when I saw her in the clip, I was like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Yo, this shit is lit. So yeah, agreed, man. The acting skills, but of course, when you have a major production, sometimes you fall into some sort of category. Evidently, what's the word I'm looking for?
Trap.
Controversy. Sorry. No, that's controversy. And in this particular case, we all remember, let's just keep it real, as we opened up this the show, we discussed the fact that Last of Us was based on a video game. And unfortunately, for one person who actually started the process, or one of the co-creators of the game, if I'm not mistaken, his name is Bruce Straley, who actually helped make The Last of Us. He was left out, hanging to dry, and he's got some outwardly vocal complaints about it, as Nolly put us up to. And when he was asked about it, he basically said it's an argument for unionization. Hooked on phonics. Works for me. That someone who was part of the co-creation of that world and those characters isn't getting a credit or a nickel for the work they put into it. Maybe we need unions in the video game industry to be able to protect creators. This guy truly feels like he was shit on Nolly. Does he have a point? Does he have a case? Or is he just sour grapes?
So personally, I think he's got a case. He and people are saying no because he didn't write the story, but Nick, who wrote the story and the script for the game, is the one who's working on the show. Straley is the one responsible for creating all of the gameplay. You could have great storylines and scripts in a game, but if the gameplay ain't shit, it's not going to fly. And the gameplay is what made Last of Us amazing. Like all of the stealth mechanics, all of the, you had to really use your freaking brain to play this game, because there were so many parts where it was like one little mishap and you messed up and you were starting from your save file again because it was a hot ass mess. He is responsible for such an innate and important part of the game. But the reason why I believe that he wasn't on the project for the show is because he left Naughty Dog and Sony, because his team took over the project for Uncharted 4 after that director left. And he said he felt burnt out. So he quit. Right. And then since then, his relationship with Sony and Naughty Dog has been super strained, and he didn't work. I don't believe he worked on Last of Us 2. So because of that, I think that's why he wasn't asked to be part of the project for the show. But it still sucks because it's something that he co-created, put a whole lot of his work into. It's one of the top games of the last couple of decades, at least. I don't see why they couldn't have just been like co-created by special thanks to, like, it takes 1 second type of little thing.
Well, if I may, I think that the risk in doing that is him saying, okay, now open your purse.
Wallet, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
My wallet is empty, please.
Yeah, hat in hand. Look, you got my name listed as a credit, but my bank account is still in the negative. You know what I'm saying? Must we adjust? I mean, Steph, this is kind of like if Ta-Nehisi Coates created a Black Panther series, put it out as a graphic novel. Marvel picks it up and leaves Ta-Nehisi Coates, because he's no longer creating Black Panther graphic novels, out of the movie production, out of the actual the purse of the spending. No, you think so? Different?
I don't think that's really an apt metaphor, because they did include the story designer, and in that analogy, it would be an analogy, not a metaphor, because you said like. In that analogy, it's more leaving out the. I'm sorry, I'm a grammar nitpicker.
I see it.
The college professor in me.
That's why look at that, Howard. Come on.
I think that it would probably be more akin to Ta-Nehisi Coates writes the story for something, and then someone else illustrates maybe leaving out the illustrator. Maybe it's leaving out the illustrator in a graphic novel, when it's translated to a film. I think that would be more apt. And I think it's messed up, but I think there's an argument for both sides that if you have the story writer, that's who you really need. And honestly, this is the law school in me. You should have protected yourself with a contract. When you got involved in the project, you should have made sure that you had some amount of royalties for any adaptation. And if you didn't do that, corporations are going to eat you up. That's what they do.
Absolutely. I think also, Nolly, well, I'll throw this to Ty. I think also there's a hint of just being like betrayed. Like if you created something with your boy and then your boy goes on to make something, but he's also like, yo, you left the project. It's like if me and you, like we kind of, started this whole project, and it's like you decided in 2023, you know what, man, I'm tired of this podcast shit. I'm burnt out. Y'all got it. It's on you. And then we 10 years later made a movie out of it. You're like, yo, but I started this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you still owed a credit? And this, believe it or not, doesn't just happen to unknown or say lesser known creators and directors. We'll get into how this spills over into even some other folks. But is this fair, or is this dude just a little upset that he jumps ship a little too early? Ty. Bad Ty. Never mind, bro. I don't know what the fuck you. Bad Ty just woke up. He was having a daydream, and he was
I was reading the comments actually, but
comments are on fire.
Really, I look at it like this. You took the words right out of my mouth when I was thinking about it from like a boy perspective. Like we went on this project and we went on this venture together to build something. We built something. I don't know what the terms or what the I know, right? I don't know what happened along the way that caused him to leave. It could have been something that had nothing to do with his partner. It was just more like whatever happened in life. Who knows? I don't know, but I do know that if there was a feeling that you got left out, your boy who didn't get left out would have took care of you if he felt like, what I'm saying? This is not the responsibility of this third party. The third party came and negotiated with, the story writer and everything like that. That's who they negotiated with. So at this point, if you have any quarrels or any beefs, you should probably holler at your man and say, yo, break me off a little piece because I feel like I deserve it. And if he feels like if y'all still boys, he gonna throw you something. He gonna be like, yeah, you right. I got you. You know what I'm saying? He not even gonna trip about it. But if it was something slight and y'all did leave on bad terms, he gonna be like, nah, you left. So
is that fair, Tyrone?
I guess in the world we live in now, like, we do have to look out for each other. So, in a way that, there's some personal responsibility. Just in general, I am 100% behind the idea of unionization in video games and really in any field we possibly can, to make sure that creatives do get their due when it comes time to, continue to profit real big off something that they worked on. Because, this is going to be, very profitable for Sony, for Naughty Dog, for HBO, for anybody involved. So I do 100% support unionization so people can make sure to protect their intellectual property and the the effort and the art that they put into it.
Honestly, though, I don't know if unionization would have hurt him. Would have helped him in this, because he still left the project. He left.
So there is that personal decision part of it. So like at some point you do have to ask, like, what did you expect after you left? But yeah, it's because, like Steph made the point earlier, if you give corporations any chance to find a way to leave you out or to not pay you money, they're going to take it. Like that's the whole idea, is to make as much money as possible. So if you can not pay somebody, that's going to help your bottom line. So do what you can to protect yourself from that, like Steph said.
Yes. Unfortunately, this is starting to pan out to possibly be a common practice, and I'll lead that into this discussion right here. The Last of Us, I think we can all agree, we're looking forward to it. I would dare to say it might even be a show, despite the fact that it airs on Sundays, that this show, New Blurred Order, in our nerd church sessions will follow. So look out for some reviews on that. But I thought that it was really fascinating that this happened to this guy. You know, well, I don't even know if it happened to him or if it's something that he, you know, kind of, you know, the domino effect ended up he wrote himself out of. Like, what was he burnt out about? But I'll leave that for everybody else to speak about. But go ahead, bro.
I have one other thing to say.
Please.
This guy designed, or from what I'm hearing Nolly explain, the gameplay. He did like all of the gameplay, right?
Yeah.
And everybody out there says that the gameplay was top notch, right?
Yep.
Yes.
What are you crying about, dude? Like, keep doing what you do, dude. Keep doing top notch gameplay, you know. And now moving forward, just, you know, now you learn from your lessons. Like, at this point, don't wait till you see a huge success in what The Last of Us is doing on the television screen, and now you come out like, oh, I'm mad about you wasn't mad the whole time the game was out. You wasn't like crying in. Like when the game was out and everybody you wasn't out here crying, was you?
Well, I think that in his opinion, I mean, I'm not going to speak for him because I don't know what he's thinking.
Yeah.
But I think he's probably thinking, all right, there's a big difference between video game money, and major Hollywood production money. And he's being left out of what some would consider possibly the biggest bag portion of this. And honestly, it also sounds, when I read this comment, when I read this right here, the fact that, I mean, there's a few words in here that are very illustrative of his opinion. He says, for someone who was part of the co-creation and isn't getting a credit, like, something about this tells me that he just wants to be acknowledged too. Like, he wants y'all to be like, yo, look, bro, this dude made this work. You know, we may not be paying him for it, but we want y'all to know that he's nice. So you can hire him to do other stuff. Some of this, I feel like, is him not just feeling like he didn't get paid for it, which I'm sure he wants, but it's also the acknowledgement of the fact that the world that y'all are about to get a huge bag off of came from my mind, and y'all ain't even giving me any credit. I mean, Nolly, does that sound like it makes more sense?
Yeah, I think so. Because I think in the same interview he mentioned, like, it wasn't about the money, it was just acknowledgement of his part in creating the world that we're now enjoying in live action.
Right. So I mean, it's not even a matter. Now, don't get me wrong.
That's tricky.
The very next thing in that comment was or a nickel. All right, so it's not like it's completely devoid of requesting that bag, but it does seem like there is, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, some sour grapes just because he wasn't mentioned. And I could understand that, man. I could understand that. If y'all went off and started a New Blurred Order without me and made a movie about it, I'd be hot. I'd be hot. I'd be like, but yo, all them years, MegaCon, New York Comic Con.
Yo, who would we get to play Vince? Who would we cast to play Vince in this movie? That's what I want to know. Because and you're out of the running, Vince. We don't need you. But who do we get to play you in the movie? That's the question.
I got somebody. There's a black bald comedian about Vince's complexion, sort of similar cadences, named Desi something.
Desi Banks? Are you not? Are you
serious? I don't think it's Banks. Let me find. He's on tour right now with Jess Hilarious. Desi Alexander.
Now
I'm gonna say Chris Redd, so we can recast Vince as a short king and completely because Vince likes the fact that he's 6'1", 6'2", so yeah, we gotta take him down. We're gonna make him about 5'8", 5'9".
This guy.
oh, okay. You know what?
Okay.
I'll take that. You can book him. He got a full wraparound. I ain't been able to get that this whole time. So I'll take that. I'll tell you what, if y'all do this movie, y'all can cast me as that guy as long as y'all cast Tyrone as Thandie Newton's daughter. There's an uncanny resemblance there. We get a side by side. I think we got something going. But anyway, just kind of in the spirit of this being new. There's also I've been meaning to talk about this for a long time. And then we'll kind of get into this, and then I'd love to discuss Mindy Kaling and her problem. some of which is family related. But I just wanted us to, we haven't really been big on this particular production, but I just want to go ahead and throw this this trailer up for us to watch just for a couple minutes so we could discuss this topic. This is for an upcoming movie that stars not only one, but two major Marvel characters. So please feast your eyes, everybody, on the trailer for Creed 3. Let's check it out.
His dreams. Bianca, Rocky, my dad. This is built on their shoulders.
Hey, my man, can I help you? Let me get an autograph. No, I ain't signing no autographs, but you get off my car. You don't remember me, huh? Damien.
How long were you locked up?
18 years, bro. Just got out last week.
Glad to have you back out, huh?
I know I've been away a long time, but kept myself in shape. I still got gas in the tank.
Come by the gym.
Thank you.
Curious what happened with you two?
I didn't tell you. We was like brothers. I was the best, though. But I never got a chance to prove that. That's cute.
What you doing, man?
You trying to hurt me? I know what you're doing, Donnie. You don't owe this dude nothing.
Damien's fighting the war and he's trying to hurt people.
I vouch for you. You think you mad? Try spending half your life in a cell. Watching somebody else live your life. I'm coming for everything. You threatening me?
Something is going on with you.
Damien was like family.
Now we past talking.
Then maybe you just have to find him.
Do what I gotta do. Some of my methods you might disagree with me. These are family ties. I recognize mine. I know that they needed me. Post-traumatic stress, watch it manifest. Got my only fear. I ain't scared of that. Did you hear me yet? I ain't scared of that. Did you hear me yet? What you gonna do? Threaten to take my breath?
I need you to let go of your fear. Let go of the guilt. Let go of whatever was and walk into what is.
I fear those chains are breaking, yeah. I fear God, I don't fear death. I see those stripes and take a step.
All right. So as you're watching this trailer, I wonder if anybody couldn't help but notice that there's somebody noticeably, visibly missing from this trailer. And that would be one
Ant-Man.
Sylvester. This is Ant-Man. Yo, come on, yo. That part too. But yo, listen, before we get into the debacle, because there is some drama going down with Sylvester Stallone and his project, as we were just talking about Bruce Straley feeling like he got left out. This is another case of somebody who created something and is being left out. Completely different situation. However, same type of struggle. And I would say it's almost even more audacious for this to be happening to Sylvester Stallone, because he wrote it. He pitched. He went around. Nobody would take Rocky. Like, Rocky was a dead project, and he refused to not let it go through. He definitely. I mean, as far as him being an ally, so to speak, he made sure that Apollo Creed was a major part of the first two movies, and even the third to an extent, even the fourth. You know what I'm saying? He spearheaded the Creed project, helped it along with the director Ryan Coogler. Hello, I mean, this is like a Marvel project outside of Marvel, and I mean, he's doing his thing. Now, before we discuss the tea that goes on with these two, I just wanted to really quick just big up Michael B. Jordan for understanding the assignment. Like, this dude didn't just say, you know what, I'm going to come out with a dope movie. He was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to tour some black colleges. We're going to go to the HBCUs. I saw a clip of FAMU in there. Well, I think it's FAMU. And I don't know. It might have just been another dorm that looked like Pattyfoot. But the dude is out there promoting on the HBCU campuses. Yes, it's a cash grab, but he don't have to do that. Most of these kids is broke. Let's just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? But he wants to generate the interest for them. So I'm just curious, Steph, good marketing or just somebody taking advantage of the black community? Uh-oh. Please let us hear what you're saying. Unmute.
Please.
Thanks, friends. Yeah. No, this is everything good. This is everything I love. HBCUs, Jonathan Majors, Michael B. Jordan. What's not to love about this? Give me all of it, please.
Yeah. I saw your face.
Damn about Rocky. Like, I'm annoyed that he's being salty about this. You obviously gave folks permission to use this part of the franchise. So now sit back and enjoy that they made a great movie out of it. If I create a property and there's an Asian side character who gets popular and an Asian person is like, hey, I want to lean into this story and expand this part of the universe, I'm like, cool, great, dope. I'm excited that you are expanding what I started with a new perspective and building out my world. And I'm making some money off of it. Like, Sly, sit down, chill.
What were his comments? What were his comments exactly? Like, what is? Because I don't know if we got to that part of like what exactly his issue is.
All right. Well, let's provide some context. Well, first of all, he's basically saying that first of all, I'm not even going to be in it. So as a result, I ain't even going to see it. I refuse to watch it. And here's how he elaborates. He's basically saying, look, this is a classic case of them going around trying to cherry pick the best parts of Rocky without even asking me if I want to join. Stallone said, citing the other Drago spinoff rumored to be in the works, which was, hasn't been out yet. I'm not an executive producer on the Creed movies. Ryan Coogler is, and Michael B. Jordan is, and Erwin Winkler and Robert Chartoff's children are, not mine. I'm the only one left out. So, I mean, he actually did an interview, and I don't know if I could play the whole thing without being canceled, but he did state why it is that he's not going to appear and what his true feelings are. So I'll see if we could play a couple minutes of this, not all of it, but just to give us some context. Let's check this out real quick.
Rocky not be in Creed's corner in Creed 3, he won't even be in the audience. So Sly Stallone is not happy that he will not be back as Balboa for the third installment of the Michael B. Jordan-led spin-off franchise. In April 2021, when he's speaking to IGN, Michael was very respectful in acknowledging the Rocky that is in Creed.
Sly, let it be known, that he wasn't coming back for this one. But I think, his essence and experience is always going to be a little bit of Rocky within Adonis.
This whole situation is very confusing because back in November 2018, Sly said to Vanity Fair that Creed 2 would be his last Rocky movie, saying all things must pass, and told Michael he'd be carrying the mantle going forward. But now this week, Sly said to the Hollywood Reporter that this is a regretful situation, saying, quote, because I know what could have been. It was taken in a direction that is quite different than what I would have taken it. It's a different philosophy, Erwin Winkler's and Michael B. Jordan's. I wish them well, but I'm much more of a sentimentalist. I like my heroes getting beat up, but I just don't want them going into that dark space. I just feel people have enough darkness. Even that statement confuses people because both Rocky Balboa and Adonis Creed were pushed to some pretty dark places in Creed 1 and Creed 2. Sly then said...
So, I wonder what kind of darkness he's talking about. I'm just kidding. It's still I'm not accusing you of anything, but yeah, he's like, I don't like the way this is getting so dark. This movie's too dark.
I feel like it was just too black for him, honestly. Yeah. I feel like he was like,
you might want to be careful.
Too many Negroes.
How are you gonna bitch that they left you off after publicly stating that you were never gonna do another one again?
Yeah,
they didn't even ask me. Why would they ask you? You did a whole press tour that you weren't gonna.
Yeah. There's that. I mean, this reeks once again of sour grapes. But Ty, I mean, for Rocky to not be involved in a Rocky project, I think if I could try to play devil's advocate and just kind of translate or interpret what he's trying to say, I think the best case scenario is that when he's saying, look, this is the last Creed 2, I think what he may have been saying, I'm not going to be in the movies on screen. It feels like, based off what he's saying here, is that, listen, just because I'm not on screen don't mean I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be some sort of maybe advisor to the project. I mean, after all, I did create this. And with that, do you think he has a point, Ty?
Man, this was another tricky one. It's almost like the other guy where you leave, you walk away, and tell everybody, hey, I'm walking off into the sunset, but here I'm handing you the keys, and then I go to drive up the block, and you like, whoa, whoa, whoa! I didn't say take my car in that neighborhood. Like this is where we're at. This is where we're at, Rocky. Like you gave the keys up. You didn't specify where we could go with the car, but now when we start traveling, you want to start pulling up rules. Yo, and making rules. As much as I love the Rocky movies, and was a fan of what he was able to do with those Rocky movies. These are Creed movies.
Right.
It's now you were paying homage to Apollo, your boy who you had, like you said, for 4 movies. Y'all became really good friends. This was paying homage. Now these young black directors want to take it over, and you're mad because you can't be the head of whatever they're doing. Because you're like, I hear what you're saying. You like, I wasn't able to be a part. Listen, Rock, if we made you a part, you'd want a bigger part. Why? You're the Rock. So if we gave you any creative control, you'll come in and you'll be like, yo, I don't think that should be, and we don't want that. We don't want you in here telling us what to do. And that's the part that he's not that's that tricky where you just kind of slick talking and saying little things, but not saying everything. It's like, yo, that everybody got to be a part of it but me, the Rock, So I mean, this doesn't make any sense, Rocky. And Sylvester Stallone, as a fan of Rocco, you know what I'm saying? As a fan of that, don't spoil it for me. Don't spoil it for the kid, because this right here don't even make no sense, man. Chill out. Let him do what they.
I'd like to address some idiocy happening in the comments right now. First of all, I'm very familiar with the history of Rocky and how it was developed. I know Stallone was homeless and the whole story, but it's very clear that this is the blackest of the Creed movies. And I don't think it's a coincidence that this is the one Stallone has a problem with. The man also has a history of hurling racial slurs at paparazzi. So maybe some of y'all should do your research.
Well,
also, this isn't homeless. This isn't homeless young Sylvester Stallone making this point. This is been in Hollywood for 30, 40 years now, and has has some weight behind him kind of point. And he's not even saying, like, it's not even, oh, I was left out in some kind of like messed up way. He left, and his complaints are, I would have taken it in a different direction. Well, we just saw the trailer. The direction looks good. The story looks good. It looks like we're excited about this. And he's like, I don't like this. So it seems less about I wish I was a part of this project, and it seems more about I wish I could have led this project in a direction that I like better.
I made this shit. That's basically he's like, listen, why aren't y'all kissing my ass and begging for my assistance in this project? And meanwhile, Rocky, Sly, you're talking to the director of the highest grossing Marvel movie to only star one major Marvel character. I mean, up until Endgame came out, the Black Panther movie broke all records, was the first movie to hit the billion mark at the box office. He also directed the first, he's been involved with Creed. Now, in this next clip, he is talking about how I think Rocky's kind of trying to say maybe it wasn't necessarily he doesn't have a beef with Michael B. Jordan. It's somebody else that I think that he has an issue with in this. And let's hear what he's got to say here. Let's see what this is about.
Just co-written by Ryan Coogler's brother, Keaton Coogler, and Ryan has credit for the story, just didn't include Rocky. What it was is Michael's telling a story highly personal, but there's no room for me. In other words, it's about his character's family, about his dilemma, about his journey that has nothing to do with boxing.
Let me just stop right there. Like,
I kept looking for where do I insert myself here?
What basis do you have to stand on, Rocky? You literally said I'm passing the baton to Creed, and it shouldn't have nothing to do with you. It's not Rocky. Rocky had like 18 movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many movies with Rocky, and you still want to be the main character in a movie that's not even named after you. I just think it's a little self-centered, and he should pause, hit the dispensary. make a purchase, sit back and think about what he's saying here. Let me let this ride out though. Let's ride this out a little bit more. Hold on.
Ready to spit? Ready to spit? It would have been like an appendix that was unnecessary. It was just there to say Rocky's in the movie, but he's not really.
It's always respect and always, a shit ton of love for what he's built. But we really want to push and navigate Adonis forward and the family that he created.
But then Sly also seemed to suggest on Sirius XM today that he chose to bow out because of the fight over the rights to Rocky with producer Irwin Winkler.
Michael B. Jordan, nice guy. The studio is wonderful, but it's just it's been such a real rough emotional ride. That's all.
Now, with all that pushed aside, Michael is optimistic that audiences are still going to be cheering for Creed even without Rocky in his corner.
Hopefully you guys will love what I'm thinking, what we're cooking up. I think it's going to be special.
And fans can be optimistic that Rocky and Creed together again is still a possibility.
If Michael B. Jordan, we come up with a story, I'll do Creed 4 with him as long as the other fellow's not involved.
So I don't really know what the
it
actual
sounds
truth here
again
is.
like he's personally upset with Winkler, as he didn't mention here, the son of Winkler, and the rights being left out. So there's a small part of me that wonders if Rocky Sylvester, let's call him by his government. I don't even think that's his real name. I think he might have changed his name when he moved over here. I don't know. Maybe that's somebody else. But there's still like squabble about maybe he's not getting the bag he deserves. I'm not sure, but I mean, you can't renege on saying you're passing the baton. Steph.
When he says the other fella, is he talking about Kugler? Or is he talking about Winkler?
No, he's talking about
Winkler's
these
the
two,
other
Winkler
fellas.
and Robert Shardoff.
Okay. Oh, well, I just want to say, Biddle, I see you in the comments. I appreciate you. For the record, I would never call the fans idiots. I love the fans. That was a comment and specific to one particular person who was saying that we hadn't done our research, and we had. So just wanted to clear that up. Fans, I do love you, but I don't appreciate accusations that we don't know what we're talking about when we do. And I think it's weird when people cape for old white men. I just find it strange, personally. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't get it.
Well, hey, listen, that's what makes us a group of multiple persuasions and opinions. And Steph, let's keep it real, is an assassin. She is not here to play about her opinion. And one thing we say at the end of every single show is be your authentic self. So we would ask y'all in the comments to do that. And we want our panel to be the same. And everybody's authentic selves don't jive. But in this particular instance, I just think that Sylvester Stallone may be overplaying his hand. It sounds like he could be gracious. The fact that he's open to doing another project after he's already said, I'm going to pass the baton, kind of says to me, Tyrone, he wasn't ready to pass the baton. And perhaps something in me tells me that he thought that the Creed franchise would fall off without him. And now that he sees that may not be the case, he's like, hold on, big bro. I started this shit with my flowers. Like Sly got left off bad and bougie, as Steph said in the comments. I just think I don't know, man. There's some subtext and shit going on here, Tyrone.
Yeah, it sounds like he's, he wanted to be this center. He wanted it to be a Rocky film. This is just what I'm getting from what we've learned so far, the interviews, hearing him, reading the stuff. Like, it sounds like he wanted it to be a Rocky film, and they were like, we don't want it to be a Rocky film. And he said, okay, well, I guess I can't be a part of this because he's very much like, where do I fit in here? Like, what about me? Like that kind of thing. And this story, it didn't seem like the story was supposed to be going that way. And if his involvement was hinged on how big of a role he played in it, then that just shows that, like, you're not really that concerned about the creative process necessarily. You're more concerned about where you stand in it.
Right.
And it's really hard to collaborate like that creatively when people are trying to get a story together. People are trying to build a narrative and tell certain stories. And every time you interject with something, it's like, hey, where are you going to put me? Or what's my role in here? That's not collaboration. That's just you putting a roadblock in front of somebody every time they start to get moving.
Yeah, man. There's a small part of me that says if Sly had come out and been like, listen, I passed the baton. I'm happy to see this move along. I like the direction Ryan Coogler's was going. I would have liked to have been included. I wasn't, but I did pass the baton. If they do want to holler at me, I'm available. If they do want to hit me up for the next one, I'm cool. But this is coming across like, yo, y'all are fucking up by not including the guy who made it possible for you to make this movie. Ty.
Yo, this really is reeking. I'm feeling a little funny about this, right? Because why are Winkler and Sharton's sons on because it didn't say them, it said the children of them are on the like the production staff or whatever. The reason I say it reeks is because if he has an issue with Winkler, who seems to be someone who's has some type of power. I don't know who that individual is, but it did from Rocky's comments, it did seem as though there is a lot of disdain between him and Winkler. He wasn't willing to work with Winkler, but yet Winkler still found a way to somehow. So if it's it, I don't know. I'm not gonna throw accusations, but this really reeks of some like background deals being made without Rocky knowing, and then now Rocky is a little bit, sour about what he was told as opposed to what was done. You know what I'm saying? Like, because by the comments that you read, he was saying like I could have been involved. Like I was looking through the script to see where I could put myself. Like first of all, Rocky was his trainer, so he was also based on the movies that I saw was like a father figure to him. Right. So how come you said I want to move on with my family, and now all of a sudden Rock ain't family? Like so he could have been Grandpa Rock. He could have been like anybody. He could have been somebody that you could have thrown in the story at any point. So this really does reek of this Winkler guy and Stallone having some difficulties, and then something being negotiated outside of his knowledge, and then him being a little upset about how it was handled. That's what it sounds, because it doesn't sound like he necessarily is pointing any fingers at Michael B. Jordan or Ryan Coogler. He's saying Winkler, from what I heard, was Winkler. Look, hey, everybody knew what it was, like, whatever the case may be. So I think that's really what this is all about. His gripe is with Winkler and whatever deal he made.
There is another side to this. Let's flip the coin and look at devil's advocate. Okay, look, I didn't want to be in Creed, but it would have been nice to have turned down the invitation. Maybe just give me a cameo. After all, it's my movie. I'm almost positive that we'll watch this movie and we're going to hear Rocky's name referred to multiple times. It's not like he's going to be completely left out the story. He's the originator. So that should be enough. But it just feels like Sly is giving, this movie ain't going to be shit without me. I'm going to let y'all do what y'all want. And if y'all fuck it up, it's on you. Oh, wait. Oh, it looks like it's going to be good. But they didn't even ask me about it. Yo, fuck this shit. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't bode well for the public. It makes you look like a tired old man that's upset. But I ain't going to lie. It's hard to really, navigate this whole situation, because I don't know how I would feel if I created something and then I passed the baton and then I saw it go in a different way than I expected. But to that, I say, perhaps that's why you don't walk away and don't make public statements saying that you're walking away. Because after you leave the baton to somebody else, it's in somebody else's hands. So that's the thing that's happening, man. I will say this. I'm geeked up about this movie. These are two of Marvel's biggest villains going head to head. The setup of it, of him being out of jail, Jesus, like this is. These dudes are swole. They look like they eat creatine sandwiches and shakes every single day, and them going at it. It just looks like it's going to be really exciting, Steph. So are we in line to see this as soon as it comes out? Is this going to be on top of your things to see?
I'm probably not there at a midnight showing like it's a Marvel movie, but I will definitely be seeing it, perhaps more than once. Yeah, I support Black filmmakers and just good writing. That's really my motivation for this film.
Okay. All right. Well, let's hope that it is that. I didn't have that up there. Let's move this out the way. Let's hope that it is that. It's hard for me to think of it being bad. Michael B. Jordan, he hasn't really been flopping I mean, some could argue Raising Dion could have been better casted, but I still liked it season 1 better than season 2, but that's a whole different subject. But at least we know who Michael B. Jordan is. At least we know who Jonathan Majors is. We know that these are 2 black men that are proudly black, outwardly black, and Michael B. Jordan's even showing up in HBCUs. Unlike some people that aren't necessarily portraying themselves as they are in real life. And I'm not even talking about this one that's on the screen. I'm talking about this one. Yes. All right. So we have to talk about the Mindy Kaling problem. First and foremost, I have not watched the show. And I'm gonna keep it real, Ty, because I think you've watched it. I came this close. I went to HBO Max. It said play. I had my remote control in my hand, and every time I went to hit play, this dude's face came to mind, and I was like, I don't know if I want to support anything that's going to. So we already discussed, the problems with Mindy Kaling and her character being a little. Well, talk to us about it, Todd. Your opinion about the shows thus far.
Well, I mean, my overall opinion about the show is it's not a bad show. Like, I watched I think 2 episodes of it, and I was like, it's not terrible. I mean, it was a lot of little catchphrases and little clips here and there, and it was just it got to be excessive. But I'll say this: I'm interested to know who's cutting out people's brains. Like that. I'm good. I'm here for a mystery. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean. Like if that's what we got, let me know what's going on with that.
Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, nobody else here has watched it, right?
I watch it.
You okay, Tyrone? What's your opinion on it, homie?
Yeah, it's a lot like Ty's. It's the mystery is interesting. The comedy writing. I think when we were talking about it with Omar last week, we had a little bit of a chat about it, and one of the things I said was that like these jokes would have hit hard like 5 years ago, like because it feels a little bit dated at times. And then so the show itself, okay, not great, not bad, but then the biggest thing has been kind of the pushback against Mindy Kaling and how she centers white characters and how her her main characters seem to be people with different ethnic backgrounds who also center whiteness. Like there's this big pushback against Mindy Kaling for that, and then of course we're going to get into her brother. But I have hesitated to jump on the bandwagon of like pushing like of really giving Mindy Kaling a lot of shit, just because we don't see a lot of brown women in this situation, and I think tell your story the way you want to tell your story, and I think when you get into it, when you watch it, and when you hear the way she's going at it, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these feelings actually come from her life experience, and we know what it's like, trying to succeed in a white world. So I give her a little bit of grace for that. But her brother's a different story. So I'm sure we'll get into that. But the show is all right. It's not terrible.
Muted.
Oh yeah, you muted.
Sorry, I kept sniffling and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I got to quit doing coke so early. Just kidding. I don't do coke. Never have. But unless it's diet coke. But yeah, evidently everybody on the show, I mean, everybody, that's chiming in seems to be saying this show is breaking records, and not in a good way. Remember Dragon Ball Evolution? It has been dethroned. It originally had the worst rating. I think it was like 2.8 or something. And this one has gone down further. And now the question is, this gets tricky. Is it because they race swapped? Is it because it's just really bad? Is it because Mindy Kaling is unlikable? There's a whole bunch of different factors.
All of the above.
It could be all of those. I mean, it could just be a whole torture salad of bullshit. But I mean, I kind of lie between the militants and the creatives as it pertains to this, because like we always say on this show, we say be your authentic self, right? Be your authentic self. And I don't want to say unfortunate, but the truth of the matter is Mindy Kaling did not grow up in any of our households. And by that, what I mean is I can't speak for anybody here, but I grew up in a household where Black history was the Bible. You know, like we had to be, I was getting flashcards in my face early in the morning before going to school, before in elementary school. And I grew up in an indoctrination that I enjoyed because it was basically giving me, it was preparing me for the fact that I was going into a white world to learn about white people with a few folks, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, that they'll mention. But there's a whole world of very rich, intelligent, useful, and prominent Black leaders. And I don't think everybody gets that upbringing. And it's on display sometimes when you see the projects come out. I was raised, if you can't use your comb, don't bring it to this house. You know what I'm saying? I mean, bring it to your crib, but don't bring it to this house. Now, my mom, excuse me, I just threw somebody under the bus. I mean, some of my folks have changed. You know, they've gotten a little, I don't want to say better, but they've lightened their stances after their some of their other kids have brought home different shades of women. But there is that Black household. I would assume that possibly Steph had a similar type of upbringing where we're not, I mean, especially me and Steph are HBCU folks. You know, we don't, like, there is a hint of militance and pride that you get just from attending an HBCU for a number of years. And Mindy Kaling and her brother, I don't think had that upbringing, which make them ignorant to the plight of us, which make them more likely to not understand why we're like, no, you can't say you're Black just to get in school, because even when we do say we're Black, in many cases, we're not getting into the schools we want unless they've made a clause where 1 out of 80 of us can get in because you're actually making an active effort. So for that, I say, let's say, Nolly, is Mindy Kaling being drugged because her depiction of her life doesn't fit what we think it should as a brown girl? Are we, in a sense, kind of shaming her for being her authentic self outwardly because it doesn't match what we think that her authentic self should be? Or is she just flat out wrong?
That was for Steph, right?
It's finale.
For Nolly,
we might have stumped her. You want some time? You need more time on this essay?
I feel like it's two different things. Everyone's entitled to their own experience, right? We can't tell people how they live their lives. They're the only ones who can tell us how they live their lives, right? The problem with Mindy is that she is one note deliverance, same material recycled over and over again throughout all of her roles. She got no variety.
Right.
She's like opening a bag of chips and knowing you're going to get 3/4 air and some chips on the bottom. Like, it's just not giving ever. And the problem is with everyone dragging her is, while yes, she deserves to be dragged for the work that she's doing, a lot of people are using it as an opportunity because, you know, the racist gonna be racist. And it's like a sense that it's like there's this sensation about like, oh, let's pile up on the brown girl because, you know, it's just easy and they love that shit. And so it's like,
right.
It's like a two-sided coin of, you know, on one hand, yes, she deserves, but on the other hand, I was reading some comments and I was like, y'all need Jesus and some brown friends, because what the fuck?
Yeah. Go ahead, Tyrone, please.
Just to go on Nolly's point, like we don't want to have to like folks of color don't want to have to defend like average or like below average stuff all the time just because racists take their opportunity to like jump all over it. Like that's the thing. I want there to be space in the world for people of color, for women of color, for to like be able to do average stuff without suffering, vitriol from racists and from haters and stuff online. There are legitimate criticisms on this show, but a lot of the hate is not talking about those legitimate criticisms. It's going, into, who she is as a person and that sort of thing. The Daniel Biddle's comment was great when Nolly was describing Mindy. He said, "So Amy Schumer," and it's like, yeah, Amy Schumer gets to just do Amy Schumer without ever, hearing about it from the world. You know what I mean? So it would be nice if, if everybody got to have that experience. If they made something that was just average, and people were like, "Meh, okay, we'll watch it or not, whatever," without it being a whole big controversy.
Oh, you're muted. But also to add on to Amy Schumer, fuck Amy Schumer. Like, as an autistic, I will tell you that the autistic community absolutely fucking loathes Amy Schumer. Her husband's autistic, and she made it the selling point of her book, of a special, of a tour, and she infantilizes him. She's ableist in her comments, and it's like, bitch, shut up. Your shit is so corny. It's not funny. It's giving Friends, okay? The jokes don't land. It's just not. Fuck Amy Schumer. Oh.
Let it be known, Amy Schumer, Nolly coming for you. I don't know. I try my best to take a step back in instances that I'm not of that community. As a member as somebody who's what I think. What do they call?
Neurotypical.
You're
neurotypical, right? Like, I mean, even though y'all don't know my story, I might not be.
Right.
I'm saying,
and there's present as neurotypical.
Yeah, but as somebody who hasn't had the diagnosis, I'm not on the books as of having. I'm like, look, I can't comment. I can't delve into it because it's not my plight. The same way I'm not a woman, I'm not a black woman, I'm not a trans, I'm not I don't want to say the wrong words, but I don't want to speak for folks in a community of which I don't share their experience. And that's what I think a lot of folks do. It sounds like that's what Amy's doing. She's belittling, based on what you're saying, the notion of autism. But I digress. That's a subject for another day. But it is also speaking to the fact that there is a hint of like racism with complaints. Now, as we discussed in our group chat, look, I'm all for criticizing this project because it sucks. I'm all for saying, yo, this project is not funny. It's not well thought out. The writing isn't that great. What I'm not for is saying this is what happens when Indian girls get an opportunity to make something, or this is what happens when you allow brown people too much leeway in Hollywood. Like, when you make the charge racial, then I'm like, that's an unfair and an unnecessarily ignorant and racist comment. And so those we won't stand for. If the show sucks, the show sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't defend a show, but I'll defend a culture, because I don't think that they're mutually exclusive. But in this particular instance, it just gets worse because evidently Mindy Kaling, who seems to always be in love with a white man in real life or on screen, which is, hey, that's your business. But on the opposite end of that spectrum, her brother is like, yo, I need to lean on the backs of other culture struggles just so that I can make my own dreams come true. And this is an egregious story. Steph, could you fill us in on kind of what's going on with Velma's brother here?
So Mindy Kaling's brother applied to medical school as a black man because he had the assumption that he would not get in as an Indian man, that there was already a higher population of Indian people in medical school. And if he applied as a black man, he would be more likely to get accepted. It was not a double-blind study. There was no kind of control element to it. He didn't apply as an Indian man and a black man and compare results. He only applied as a black man. And I'm pretty sure he only got into one school, but he took this nonsensical, completely unproven theory of his, ran with it, wrote a whole book about his theory that he was more successful at getting into schools by pretending to be Black than he would have been if he was himself, and has a website, which I almost even want to say it because I don't want to give him more views. But the title of it is so completely absurd. It is beyond offensive, beyond ridiculous. And apparently she has disavowed herself from it privately because he says something about how she won't approve and says it'll shame the family. I don't know of her ever having publicly gone on the record to address it, though. It is some seriously wild stuff.
Well, yeah. And that's upsetting. Because it's already hard enough for folks to really understand why a concept like affirmative action exists without automatically thinking, oh, it's not fair. I keep thinking back to what was the Watchmen when they gave out Redfordations, right? Yeah. And like there was a kid in Regina King's class, it was like, did you get all your money from Redfordations? Like you had to string this little kid up. So like there's still, right now there is a bill being proposed in San Francisco to pay Black people who can prove that they're related to somebody who was a slave $5 million. And also there's two other clauses if you were a victim of the war on drugs, if you grew up in poverty, for Black folks specifically. And this is an instance in which somebody's completely unaware of why it is that there is a program or situations where they are allowing for Black folks to get a leg up because they were excluded most of the time in history. So this is an attempt to kind of balance the tide or whatever it is, So here's what we do know, and this is where we have to decide whether or not this is good on Mindy or bad on Mindy. So evidently, what Mindy is saying is like, yo, look, I didn't know that he was doing all that, but the brother on his blog, all right, which I'm gonna follow Steph for now. I hope it doesn't slip out, but I won't say it. But his blog is basically saying, nah, look, bro, she knew. She's the only one that knew, and nobody else knew. And now she's trying to act like she didn't know. Well, yeah, because you're fucking up her career, bro. Like you're bringing. Like this is an instance. I'm not going to empathize with her for bad writing, but I will empathize with her for bad family, because sometimes your family will fuck shit up for you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just fucked up. I remember when Obama got elected, like his long lost brother started coming out and speaking against him. He's like, who is this guy? I don't know this guy. Yeah, Ryan Dolezal, hilarious. Holy shit, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's more like Deepak Dolezal.
Yeah, what does that say about him though? That like one of the first things he does is throw his sister right under the bus.
Right.
Like, damn, bro. Like seriously, already like you are showing yourself to be a shitty dude, and then you're just like, nah, she knew, get her too. Like, damn, that is messed up. This dude is just batting 1,000 in the terrible person league. It's bad. That is bad.
Well, let's go down the list of how trash he is. Here's a few things that have been noted about her brother. The brother reveals that she was one of the few family members. This is what she says. Oh dang, I didn't put it on there. All right, don't go there. I meant to redact that. My bad. All right. Kaylee sought to publicly distance herself from her brother, which is a fucked up thing to have to do. I can't even imagine me having to go out and talk to the press and tell them, yo, look, I don't really fuck with the brother that I grew up with. They probably done took baths together. They done went, like they done had a whole upbringing, and now you're being insensitive to her career. She's clearly trying to make it in white Hollywood. I mean, I say that with I'm saying it as it is, because she's not like she's trying to get into a Tyler Perry project. You know what I'm saying? Like she wants to be BJ Novak, woman so bad. It's so weird to see that Office character was a real life situation, and it's still going on in Velma, evidently, even though I haven't seen it. But there's even more trash. What does it say here? It says the people in Mindy's camp has gone as far as to quietly suggest that he's mentally unstable to undermine his credibility.
Sounds like he is.
He is.
Well, here's the worst. Yo, the worst thing about it, this dumbass lied on his resume, lied on his application to get into med school, and now he writes resumes for a living. Like that's what it's like. Yo, what the fuck? He's a real live George Santos doing his thing, and evidently he doesn't see anything wrong with it. So I just thought that we'd call attention to that. But again, this doesn't necessarily explain why Velma's so bad. but it shows that I don't know that Kaling household may have had a bit of a lackluster upbringing. What's up, Steph?
I think there's some weird racial dynamics going on in that house. I mean, one of the things that's been pointed out as a criticism of Mindy Kaling is that her characters are frequently very self-deprecating in a racial way, and all of them that they are consistently racially self-deprecating, and that they are consistently obsessed with white men who are really not paying them any attention. And again, I see the argument for, well, why can't she be Amy Schumer? Why can't she write mediocre repetitions of herself over and over? But the challenge there is there are so many different depictions of white women at all different kinds of stages of life and different issues they're having. With Mindy Kaling being, unfortunately, kind of the premier voice for Indian women of her generation in Hollywood right now. There just isn't that variety. And maybe that's an industry problem that they need to be lifting up some additional voices. But I do think it would be really frustrating to see her as the major reflection of yourself and just have it be the same thing over and over again.
I feel you. Like maybe she needs to go a step further, have the conversation that is like that she keeps tiptoeing up to. Like, because it's obviously, like you alluded to, her upbringing, their family, you can see it all over them. There's a lot of, I mean, and I'm not accusing them of having this, but we know with immigrant families and Black families, I can speak from my own experience. There's, you have things like self-hatred, and you have things that come from white supremacy that affect you so much to where it's like it's part of your being. So if she were to go a little bit further, maybe have those conversations instead of just being the fawning brown girl who's fawning over the white dude. Maybe let's talk about why. Why is it that she's always attracted to these toxic white dudes, and what does that say about the world? So yeah, maybe go a step further and up your game a little bit as you're growing through as you're going through the industry and stuff. I feel you on that.
I don't know if explaining is going to make it better. I mean, we'll see. But
it's not even necessarily like a way to explain in order to like be forgiven or anything like that. But it's a matter of being like, hey, this is what life is like for me, and maybe for some other people, and this is why. And maybe talking with more of a purpose, and showing these stories with more of a purpose would give people. It would put people in a position where they might be able to learn a little something, maybe sympathize, instead of just being like, why do we always get this version of you?
Right. Right. I think that's fair. I would like to submit, if the court would allow, Aziz Ansari as a palatable alternative in the Indian community, as on his show. I don't know if y'all have seen his show. What's it called?
Master of None.
Master of None. I think he does a phenomenal. There is one episode where he gets invited to Black Thanksgiving, and it is, I don't know if y'all have seen it, but I think it is a beautiful depiction of a Black Thanksgiving. He outwardly speaks on the inequalities as it pertains to a Black family and how they have to deal with racial issues. He doesn't lean into it as if it's something that affects them. He literally donates a whole episode to a Black woman, and how he is given into her, like given some entrance into her perspective and the family, and it's a beautiful thing. I don't know if all of y'all had a chance to see it, but I definitely think the Master of None. And another thing about Aziz is a stand-up comic, so he has a little bit more leeway to speak freely with his words, and he's come out and said basically, look, I won't take these parts where they want me to talk like this and want me to do the Bollywood, because he was like, that's not who I am. I'm from North Carolina. My parents is from India. I'm going to be who I am outwardly. And I don't mind being Indian, but I'm not gonna castigate your Indian stereotypes. So I mean, there's room in the community for those, and I don't know who he dates and all of that other stuff, but there are some better representations, I think, that are a little more conscious of cultural issues in the industry. And I don't know, maybe Mindy Kaling is just, but I'll also say this: there are people like her that feel like she accurately represents their life. Like, I know a few young ladies that I went to high school with that were white identifying Indians, and that's the way they go. I even know some Black identifying Indians. I mean, excuse me. Yeah, that too. You know, like one of them we just talked about. But I like to move this along. All right, so we kind of got that out the way. And some of this is coming from we're talking about where, you know, Mindy Kaling has her cartoon. We also earlier talked about The Last of Us, and The Last of Us kind of ushered us in once again to the potential for there to be really dope video game projects. But video games are still a thing. We recently, I think of this week, got a new onslaught of trailers of what to expect for video games. What's up, Steph? Before we go there, what's up?
I just wanted to insert real fast. I know we mentioned Gwen Stefani and showed the imagery up front, so I wanted to fulfill that promise. On the note of people incorrectly racially identifying themselves, the latest fun from Gwen Stefani was that I don't want to hear. Thank you for putting it. I was like, I don't want to misquote the woman, but said basically that because she is such a fan of Japanese culture and loves it so much that basically that makes her Japanese. When it's not how it works. That's not how ethnicity works. Take a class. That's not how it works.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure if her culture was Japanese, then that would mean one of her parents was locked up in a Japanese internment camp during World War II, right? Or no? Oh, no. Oh, he just was going to work in Japan, and you as a kid liked seeing Japanese people, and you liked them so much that I Japanese just like you. No. All right.
Let's not do that. But
yeah, sorry. My apologies, Japanese community. What's up, Nali?
She also, like, the picture of her with the 4 women, she literally paid 4 Japanese women to follow her around everywhere while she was promoting that album, and these women were not allowed to speak unless she allowed them to, and they only had like a few lines that they were allowed to say. She literally used them as like live puppets and props to follow her around to promote this damn album. Like, ma'am, I am a huge fan of Korean culture, right? I took Korean language lessons for 3 years because I got tired of waiting for subtitles for shows and stuff. But I don't walk around, you know, calling my boyfriend oppa and saying that, you know, I'm a Korean person. Like, it's not how it fucking works, my friend. It's not how it works. You are whiter than chalk, okay? You are a hueless hooligan, and I need you to please speak to your PR before you speak, because I don't understand being comfortable enough to be like, I'm Japanese. Where?
Hueless hooligan.
The Alabama dressers are really on one lately, and I need them to calm down.
Yo, I'm gonna say that we've successfully read Gwen Stefani. I don't even want to give her no more of our airtime, but just know you are not what you think you are, and you're spitting in the face of all BTS fans. Let me stop. All right, BTS is the Korean K-pop. Nobody. All right, sorry. They can't all be winners.
PS5.
Yeah, PS5. Anyway, PS5. Well, as I said before, guys, PS5 did just recently release an onslaught of video games that we're looking forward to, and here's what some of them are. Let's take a look. All right, so just for the sake of not getting canceled, I'm going to mute this, but we can see what's going on here. I would just like to just comment on the fact that Spider-Man 2 is set to be released this year. Probably one of the things I'm most looking forward to. Spider-Man games are so dope. I know, Nali, you're looking forward to Horizon.
Yep. Horizon, Final Fantasy, and Spider-Man are on my list. And the Dead Space remaster, even though it scared the shit out of me when I first played it.
You played Dead Space?
I love Espacio Muerto. It's my favorite.
Yo, Espacio Muerto for the Latinos out there. You know what that means. You're not Latino, it means check your drink for roofies.
Alone in the Dark looks great, too.
Alone in the Dark is cool. All right, what else we got?
Yeah, Jedi Survivor.
Survivor, of
Yes.
course, we've talked about that. Pacific Drive, this looks different. I don't know.
Does anybody know if Spider-Man 2 is going to have multiplayer?
I don't know. Nolly, Resident.
I don't think they said anything about it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to just let us know because they keep teasing us with like these team ups between Peter and Miles and like that kind, and they're teasing other characters and stuff. But I just want to know if is it going to be multiplayer? Can I play Spider-Man with my boys?
Oh, it says. In
With
the
my
past,
everybody.
Insomniac has stated that multiplayer won't feature in Marvel Spider-Man 2, and it will be single-player experience only.
God damn it!
Miss. That's a miss.
Yeah. It'd be kind of hard. I guess we'll have to see Miles in Avengers. We'll have to see. But yo, I love that pic. Oh snap! Hold on, man. Hold on. Let me put this back up here. I saw Venom. Venom
is they one in the trailer. Like one of the last things you see is like Venom's face.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing that's going to be a big part of the game.
Hold on, let me get my pause button ready.
Boom.
Yo, I missed it. All right, well, we'll let it ride. But if Venom's in there, if they put Venom, oh wow.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be. Yeah, it's probably gonna be a great game either way, even though it's not multiplayer. But damn, I really wish they let us have that. Can you imagine web slinging around the city with your friends, just hanging out?
Yeah, I can imagine it, but doesn't sound like dreams are coming true on this one. I wish that they would make it multiplayer, but I think that maybe there's something systematically that causes them to not go that direction. Now, I will say this: there's some questions I have, like, and maybe now they can help me understand why is Resident Evil 4 being what is
it's a remaster, so it's like a complete overhaul of the game. So the graphics are different. The gameplay is more or less the same, but they've revamped and updated a lot of things using the new Unreal Engine. It looks fire. It's not one of my favorite Resident Evil games, but obviously as a fan, picking it up.
Yeah, you got to. And also, there's some stuff in here about, well, I think I'm one of the only ones in here that is like heavily invested in the VR community. And I saw PSVR 2 is jumping out, and it looks like Resident Evil maybe back on that. Now, Resident Evil 4 is already on Oculus, but the graphics are trash. I mean, it sucks to go from playing Resident Evil Village to Resident Evil 4 and it's not remastered, but it is what it is. So I'm looking forward to that. Ty actually has a VR that he refuses to play, even though it's all good. You know, I'm gonna put him on blast for that. But I'm looking forward to all of this stuff, man. Ty, you see anything in here you like, bro?
I mean, I see a lot of things I like, but you know, a lot of these are just trailers. So I mean, I the gameplay for me, once I get into the game, is how I determine whether or not it's really something I'm
okay.
That Suicide Squad might be dope too. Kill the Justice League. That might be fun.
Yeah.
They got King
Shark. Street Fighter 8 too. I've been into fighting games for a long time, but I haven't really found any competitors. But Street Fighter 8,
you hear that? If you're in the comments and you want to beat the shit out of Ty on some Street Fighter, combat or everything, challenges are accepted.
Tekken, Street Fighter, any of that. You get it.
Said nobody can take him.
Yeah,
and
I can personally account that Ty is trash on video games. I mean, when it comes to fighting, we can leave after this broadcast. You want to jump on some Tekken, some Mortal Kombat, bro? You ain't said nothing, bro. I'm ready, man. You will not last home.
We'll air it out on live on YouTube so y'all can see when I definitely. And he breaks his controller like an 8-year-old live.
All right. Well, what's up, Steph?
I just wanted to quickly address. I see something in the comments about Idris Elba. I don't tend to play a lot of video games, but I think I could start. Tell me more about this.
Idris Elba in Cyberpunk. I guess is there going to be an update to Cyberpunk that's going to add some story, add Idris Elba to it? That's pretty.
I think it's a DLC coming.
Is that all right? Well, Steph, is that all it takes? Is to have Idris Elba associated with a video game to get you to play
Idris Elba, Michael B. Jordan, Michael Ealy, Morris Chestnut. Just give me beautiful Black man, and I'm there for it. Yeah, that's what it
There
takes.
it is. Yeah, you got some time in the next DLC. Idris is going to be the main character, so there you go, Steph.
Might have to
Better find
pick
yourself
up
a
the
PS5.
sticks again. All right. Y'all might have to work me into the Twitch channel, the group chat, whatever it is.
Yo, come on. Yo, all
We'll
right,
have
so
her cutscenes on repeat.
we're like, yo, Steph is killing it on Twitch.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's check that out. Well, Steph had recommended a whole host of movies that we can look forward to coming up here. I don't know if we have time to play them all, but because amongst some of them are like, which I think the one that took my attention the most was Tyrone.
Oh, Tyrone!
Tyrone.
This title is giving
Tyrone.
it's giving sci-fi, it's giving Blackness, it's giving futuristic. Like I don't know anything about it, and I don't need you had me at the time. They cloned Tyrone. I'm in.
The cast is crazy too.
That's what I was about to say. If the title don't get you, the cast will. We are basically combining Marvel and Star Wars and a little bit of Woman King in there, man. So let's, without further ado,
John Boyega. Oh, the way he stands for Black women, like, baby, yes. I will follow that man anywhere. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And John Boyega, I had to give him his credit. Like, this dude, they asked him if Star Wars changed their mind and were to come back and like allow you to reprise your character. He's like, nope. He's like, you don't even. He's like, you had your chance. He's like, y'all already shit on me. But let's take a look at 2 trailers if we got time. We only got like 9 minutes. Let's see if we can squeeze 1 or 2 trailers in here. This one is for Who Cloned Tyrone. Let's get it.
I'm going down to the underground. Hope niggas don't drown. Get right now. Let a motherfucker try me. Ooh, he gon' die beside me. I don't know why. Why? What kind of shit is this? I don't know. Don't your ass touch it. You don't want to do this, man. You better talk. No, I'm just trying to collect an hourly paycheck, you know? Who are you? We're everywhere. I
swear I'm done with his broke ass. Good, it's about time.
Nigga, who the fuck is we? Somebody is conducting experiments on us. This is Major League. It's Uncle Motherfucking Sam.
We got to blow the lid off that shit.
We ain't no goddamn detectives.
Yo, that's you, girl? Oh, shit, that is you.
My bad. Take care of this shit right now. I don't know what that was, but that wasn't me.
Bruh.
We gonna buy it to the salad. Let a pimp freshen up.
Yeah.
First thoughts?
Best intro to a trailer I've seen in a minute. You know. That whole elevator scene was epic. Like that right there is epic. I wish he said, I wish if it would try me, he gonna die next to me. Why?
Yeah, that feel like some shit we be doing, right? We would be doing, Steph.
That's Black people. Like, you are in an elevator getting ready to do something completely somber, completely unrelated, and just, you know what? I'm gonna make a song about this. Like, I felt
Exactly
like I
that.
was with my friends. I'm obsessed. I haven't seen it, and it's already my favorite movie.
Black.
All right. Tay Clone Tyrone, as somebody whose name is in the actual title, what do you think, Mr. Tyrone?
Digging it. I don't know how much I'll be able to hear like this. I don't know if this will be as big as like when Erykah Badu dropped Call Tyrone. Like that was a life-changing moment. Like having people come to you just singing is a whole other thing. But we'll see what happens after this movie. But it looks amazing. Like that, I love where it's set. I love it had like a little bit of a blaxploitation feel to it, like the humor in it and stuff. I love that. Like that to me, the setting, the feel of it, the embracing of music, like all that shit. It looks like it's going to just kind of be one of those genre bashing movies that just pleases everybody, and I'm so here for it. This cast looks great. I mean, no notes.
Nolly,
I'm ready. I'm just the elevator scene. When I first saw the trailer, I was like, I can't wait. I love this shit. This is a good teaming. Like whoever did casting, thank you. I'm sure it's gonna be great. I'm ready.
That's right, Dizzy Death. The Captain's still thinking.
Yeah,
yo,
that is so hard.
Listen,
can I mention a guy in this too that is really playing the background because it's of the names that are in front of him, but he's a really good actor. J. Alphonse Nicholson, who plays Little Murda on P Valley. I don't know if you guys watched that, but it's you know, but he's a really good actor. He's an up and coming black actor, and he's on this cast. And because of so many of the big names and the great acting on this, I say keep an eye out for this guy. He's doing big things.
All right. Well, I still stand on a hill where I say that Jamie Foxx is the most talented comedian of my generation. And I don't say that he's the funniest comedian. I don't say that he's the most longest landing. I say he's the most talented because he's the only one who's had comedy specials, who's won Oscars, who had a successful CD with songs that actually made, I mean, before Kanye
charted.
turned into Ye.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this dude is killing it in all of these industries, and he is doing it by not necessarily leaving his culture. You can see him online with the Trayvon Martin shirts, with the standing up for his. Now, I'm gonna give him a pass for the Kate Holmes thing. I'm gonna give him a little. You know, that was a whole thing. You know, you fucked your boy's girl. You know, you took your boy's girl right off the movie set. We know it, the movie Collateral. We never saw him and Tom Cruise in the same picture again. So
I'm gonna side with Jamie Foxx over Tom Cruise. Whatever.
Yeah, fuck all that. I'm taking Jamie Foxx all day. So, but yeah, man, we definitely looking forward to this. Unfortunately, it looks like that's the only trailer we're gonna have time for, as we are running low on time. But don't fret, because we will be right back next week, same back time, same back channel. And I also wanted to shout out real quick our boy Omar, who last week came on, blessed us, and have now kind of low-key welcomed us into the Black Nerd Problems family. I want to shout out Tiffany, who finally responded, and looks like she'll be hollering at us pretty soon. As for some of our future guests that we are now getting as a result of Omar's just sending the word out, like, yo, these folks, they cool. You know, even though a lot of y'all didn't understand the Simba argument, I advise you to go to the Instagram page, put in your opinion of whether or not you think, like Omar and William do, that Simba was trash. But that's going to do it for the live show. After this, I think we might do a little bit of gaming, maybe some Twitch, some YouTube. So make sure y'all follow us, share us on all channels. We on YouTube, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even on I was going for the trifecta, but I don't think we're on anything else. I think I think that's it. Twitch. There it is. But as we always say, and shout out to Yaz, who hopefully will be back next week. Shout out to our comment section for lighting it up. Even when we don't disagree, we're glad that you're engaging. But always be your authentic self, because if you ain't being yourself, you're being fake. And I'm gonna use the intro for the outro. So go ahead and let that geek flag fly. Yvette may be coming back too. Hey.
I love the new blurred order. You should too.
Let me get all this 10P Wayne. All the niggas rapping about the same old thing. I've been coming through with the same old gang. Ain't Call me daddy, not my government name.